Good evening everyone, this is today's guest time on Saturday 7:40 p.m. Today we have a very beautiful guest at our studio. She's known among social network users as Bayartsetseg, Miss Mongolia, who represented our country at Miss World 2016 as one of the top 11 contestants. Also, she was casted to Netflix series Marco Polo and new 2018 upcoming movie of Steven Seagal, Attrition. Good evening.
Good
Thank
evening.
you for receiving our invitation.
Thank you very much for inviting.
So let's start talking about how did all this start? What inspired you? What motivated you? Or who inspired you to become Miss Pageant or the actress? All this passion, where did it all start?
Well, when I was a child, I always used to dream of becoming astronaut or film director. I was always sitting in front of television and watching the Oscars and dreaming of, oh, one day I would love to be in the stage with these people. But I've never actually thought about being beauty queen, or that was way too far from my imagination, never thought about it. But I studied marketing as my bachelor degree, but in the end I decided to change and switch my career for something that I'm really passionate about, which is acting and film. And I want to dedicate my time and effort and everything that I could have in order not to regret in the future, thinking about, oh, I should have done this, and maybe that could have been worked out when I was young if I did this and that. So I went to States to pursue acting, started taking acting classes, and I came back to Mongolia because my visa ran out. So I started thinking about how can I still improve my CV? What can I do to make my resume for better, and how can I improve my experience? And 2 months after I came back to Mongolia from States, I saw about Miss Mongolia pageant announcement.
So the acting was the first step, then the beauty queen, the Miss Pageant.
So actually my acting, my dream really inspired me to do something that I never thought about doing before. But once I started doing beauty pageant, I was very fortunate enough to be able to represent my country in international levels, in very big beauty pageants around the world. Then I had different perspective towards beauty pageants. For me, it became not only about myself, it became more about my country. I thought, oh wow, so this is actually a very cool cultural experience, that how many chances one has to be able to share experience with more than 100 countries, delegates at the same place, right? So for me it was very big opportunity to promote my country, my culture, the people, our tradition and everything. So I thought, oh, maybe I should really strive for more bigger pageants, which is Miss World. That would be so cool if I will be able to represent my country to the world in world stage.
My name is Bayartsetseg Altangerel, Miss World Mongolia 2016. It is an honor to represent my people and the land of the eternal blue, Mongolia. Beautiful thing when your job and passion come together. Being the boss of an underworld syndicate, a samurai, a simple peasant, or what about an ancient warrior princess?
Last time you worked on Marco Polo series as an actress. So I would like to ask, what can we learn as production, as producers or artists in media? What can we learn from that kind of international environment, international production? What are we lacking? What can we learn from them?
For me, it was very eye-opening experience as a young artist, because Marco Polo was actually a very big, huge Hollywood production,
Right.
and there were almost more than 40 countries, cast and crew worked on that
Involved,
together, involved maybe thousands of people, where it was just like a huge factory in huge film studios. Everybody looked, they exactly knew what they were doing. So there were so many things that Mongolian artists and filmmakers could really learn from them. For example, professionalism. Like they really take time to prepare before shooting. Pre-production is really important, actually. This scheduling, planning, everything, planning every single small details can really save time and money in the end if it's really planned actually. But in our case, it's more like, okay, where shall we shoot tomorrow or next week? So it's more like it's not every project, but Mongolians tend to do more based on networking and just on the phone or like in very last minute. Last minute.
So we are lacking on pre-production.
Yes.
So there's also a saying that 50% of the whole project is made during the pre-production, right?
Yes,
and we are not doing that exactly right.
That is very true. So, for example, before actors go to set, they already got their like schedule a month ago. That they exactly know which day, what time, how many hours. A month ago, they're shooting, and what do they need to get prepared for, and they have they get all these plannings, and it's incredible because it's not only about one actor. They plan every single details like this. So I think it would be very good thing to learn, and also it's very possible to implement even in smaller productions here in Mongolia. That if everybody knows exactly what they're doing and not really mix into each other's task, I think it will make it
so
much
time
easier.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For example, in Marco Polo, it's funny because there were so many jobs that I had never seen in Mongolia. For example, like there were people actually who were working on the set. Just their work is to pick up the how do you call it, poo of animals, like because they do have a lot of horsemen and horse scenes, so horses usually they pee on set, they clean the set, and then once the director say cut, they come and clean the poo and then go back.
And that's only task for them.
And then some people assist the actors just holding umbrellas or like just making holding the fan because it's not good if your face becomes oily. So it was, as a Mongolian, we don't quite used to get to this luxury treatment. So, but if we try to implement like professionalism even in small tasks, one by one, at least try to work in the pre-production more than just diving into shooting directly, I think that will make a lot of difference.
Right, very good angle. So when there's a will, there's a way. So money is second problem, right?
Usually money is everyone's problem, but still besides money, yeah.
What do Mongolian artists need to learn or to improve, get advancement in order to get on world stage, international level?
I think
besides English, English is of course the first step to that path. But
yeah, definitely, I agree. I think believing in yourself is very important because unless you believe in yourself, you always live in doubt, that you always underestimate your power. Then you will be afraid and you will not be courageous enough to put yourself out there and try to compete or try to show yourself up. I always used to think that, okay, I'm from Mongolia, it's a very exotic country, that can be my advantage, but also disadvantage, because nobody knows that I'm here. No one from Hollywood, for example, comes to Mongolia just to look for me. So I have to be the one who put myself up there. I have to be there and then introduce myself and show myself that show the world what can I do or what can I learn. So I think it's really, I think the really key starts from within, I would say. Like you really have to believe in yourself, believe in your gut. And if you have that feelings, somehow it's gonna work out, you really have to go for it instead of just counting all these difficulties, what can happen. Right. So you have to go there.
So being proactive.
Yes, definitely.
Proactive and be courageous,
yes.
Brave enough to just go out there and to show what you got.
And somehow I believe that as long as your effort is constant and very good, dedicated, always good things happen to you. I mean, as long as your will is right, the world sees you.
Very nice point. Where do Mongolian beauty lie? In women, especially. What do you think about that?
I think every woman around the world is very beautiful and unique in its own way. And Mongolian women, I would say... How do they differ in your perspective, from your angle? Just the way we are is very different. For example, I've heard many times that you Mongolians are Asians, but you don't really act like Asians. Like they say that you Mongolian women are pretty fierce or strong, or you know, like you're not very calm, and like for example, Southeast Asian women, not very welcoming, very straightforward and direct. And I think we're pretty tough because of our nomadic culture
and weather conditions.
Right.
And because of the nomadic culture and because of our relationship with nature, we are not a typical stereotype Asians. I think.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, my next question, it's a very banal question.
Okay.
And what are the projects you are working on or you just worked on? Tell us about that Steven Seagal's movie.
It is Steven Seagal's last movie, and it's very special in a way because he actually wrote the script by himself. So the movie is going to come out next March in 2018. So it's going to be, of course, action movie.
Steven Seagal, yes, it is.
Steven Seagal action movie. And
lots of martial arts.
Lots of martial artists. I was very fortunate enough to work with some of Chinese martial artists like Fan Su Wong, and also there was a guy, Rudy Youngblood, maybe you know from Mel Gibson's Apocalypto, who portrayed Black Jaguar. So I was very excited to meet with all of them because I grew up watching their films, so it is very amazing.
What's the movie about? Can you tell?
I'm not.
Will it be released in cinemas all over the world?
Yeah, I think so. I think it will be released in America or China, and of course, I'm sure Mongolians will be able to watch it somehow. And I don't think I can really spoil the film at the moment, but it's going to be a cool action movie, and then I think it will be a very good movie.
My traditional question, what book are you on?
So I'm reading The Brave Princess Kutulun by famous author Bayartsetseg, Mongolian author Bayartsetseg. So because next year I'm going to portray Princess Kutulun in that for her movie.
For her movie?
Yes.
In Mongolia? The production is in Mongolia? Yeah,
the production is in Mongolian.
Right.
So
you're studying for your
Yes, I'm studying my character, and then last year I already started doing my research, and then even especially after Marco Polo, I hold very interest in Mongolian history, especially not only about Genghis Khan and also about his grandsons and like our other ancestors. So I was very, very fascinated about our vast history, and it is very beautiful. And for me, it is an honor to be able to portray this warrior, wrestler, fierce princess.
Wrestler?
Yes. She's a great-granddaughter of Genghis Khan.
Are you going to have to gain weight?
Not really, because they have this costume. So it's like, I call it a magical costume, because whenever I wear my costume, I feel like I became someone different, because the costume has air inside, and so I look like more muscular, and then I feel much power, and especially when I ride my horse with my whole costume and sword and you know, like arch, and I feel completely different person. It's
so that costume has muscles on it, or does it make it?
It has a room, so you know, you will look bigger.
Okay. I'll have to see that. And I'm going to leave the last minutes to you. And if there's anything you would like to say to our audience, or to the younger girls, younger generation who are looking up to you, what would you like to say?
I would say just be brave enough. I would say I'm actually very believer in dreams. I like to call myself dream catcher, because I was always this crazy kid who dreams about something, then believe that it's actually possible, or it's gonna happen, or somebody's gonna make it happen for me, universe or energy, whatever. So I think as long as you have this crazy belief in yourself, that somehow everything find its own way. So maybe start reading nice books like Paulo Coelho's Alchemist or whatever.
Oh, Alchemist,
really,
I read that.
Yeah, it's very inspirational book.
It is.
Can really push you to do something. You feel like, oh, I need to do something. So yeah, just charge yourself as much as possible, almost every day, and good luck.
Mongolians say, wish you health, right?
Wish you health, health is the most important thing, that is true.
First happiness is the health,
Exactly, that's what Dalai Lama said, actually. We spend our lives to make money, but we spend all of our money to be healthy again.
To be healthy again, right. So I wish you health and good luck.
Thank you.
Health first.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for being with us. You're watching MM Today. We will see you on next Tuesday with more news and updates. Have a good one. Bye-bye.